Thank you for watching this video, proudly brought to you by AN Immigration Services and Consulting. Please ensure that you watch this video at high resolution for best video quality. The information in this video is for general guidance on matters of interest only. It is not intended to be comprehensive, and they do not constitute and must not be relied on as immigration advice. Please seek specific immigration advice tailored to your circumstances from a registered migration agent. Please subscribe to our channel, like and share this video. Let us be part of your journey in Australia and support you throughout this journey.
Hi there. I want to apply for a tourist or visitor visa to come to Australia for a holiday next month. I am still young, also thinking of having a work and holiday in Australia. However, I have applied for an Australian permanent visa 2 years ago. Would that be an issue?
Hello. If you want to apply for a visa to come to Australia, of course you need to submit a valid visa application and satisfy all eligibility criteria for the grant of the visa. For all the visas you have just mentioned, Public Interest Criterion 4011 is one of the eligibility criteria that you must satisfy. I have a concern whether you can satisfy the department that based on your individual circumstances in your home country, there is little chance that you will remain in Australia after the expiry of your visa. That is, the department will make a balanced judgment, considering your personal circumstances in your home country weighed against the identified risk of you not returning to your home country.
I don't understand. I have not committed any crimes in my home country.
It has nothing to do with your character. It is to do with the fact that during the period of 5 years immediately before your visa application, you have applied for an Australian permanent visa. The department will perceive your application to be in a higher risk category. They will apply a higher level of scrutiny to review and assess your visa application.
Does it mean that I cannot come to Australia?
Not at all. But you need to satisfy the department with evidence that you have genuine intention to stay temporarily in Australia, and it is unlikely that you will remain in Australia after the expiry of your visa.
How can I convince the department?
There are many factors and other relevant matters that the department will consider.
How about previous visa compliance?
If you have been previously in Australia, you have complied substantially with the conditions of your last substantive visa or any subsequent bridging visa. Substantive visa is a visa other than a bridging visa, a criminal justice visa or an enforcement visa.
How about intention to comply with visa conditions?
The department will assess whether you have any intention to comply with the conditions of the visa that you are applying for.
How about travel history and time already spent in Australia?
The department will look at your travel history to Australia and the total length of time you have spent in Australia on temporary visas to ensure that you are not maintaining ongoing residence in Australia.
How about my financial circumstances?
Whether you can provide evidence of your own funds, or your access to funds, to cover the period of stay sought. Your financial capacity will help the department to assess whether you will need to work to support your stay in Australia. If you hold a visitor visa, it is probable that you will breach the visa condition of not getting paid work in Australia.
How about purpose of my trip to Australia?
If you apply for a visitor visa, you should have planned how you will spend your holiday in Australia. An itinerary and return air ticket would help to support the purpose of your visit to Australia, including the proposed duration of stay and intended activities in Australia.
How about my employment status?
Whether you have any current, long-term or ongoing employment. If you intend to have an extended holiday in Australia, it will be useful if you can show to the department that your employer has approved your leave. The department will have more assurance that you will return to your current employment after your temporary stay in Australia.
How about the economic situation in my home country?
The economic situation in your home country, such as employment opportunities, unemployment rate, salary rates and living conditions, will also be assessed by the department. Let me elaborate with an example. Australia has obligations to protect the human rights of all asylum seekers and refugees who arrive in Australia. However, this obligation does not extend to economic refugees. If you come to Australia on a visitor visa purely for economic reasons in order to seek material improvements in your livelihood, this is different to the purpose of the visa to be granted.
How about my ties to Australia?
Your ties to Australia and any incentives to remain in Australia are also important consideration by the department. For example, whether you have families or relatives living in Australia. Whether there are any offers of support provided by family or friends in Australia which may substantiate the reasons of your travel.
How about reasons to travel to Australia?
Whether there are any compelling or compassionate reasons for you to travel to Australia. This is particularly important if the decision may have adverse consequences on an Australian citizen or an Australian permanent resident.
How about the way I complete my visa application?
The credibility and consistency of the information provided by you in the visa application is an indication whether you genuinely intend to stay temporarily in Australia.
How about my connections or ties to my home country?
Whether you have ties to your home country by maintaining a property ownership or assets in your home country which may indicate evidence of your genuine intention to return home.
How about the current situation in my home country?
For example, a social unrest currently taking place in your home country may indicate that you want to come to Australia for the purpose of avoiding the social unrest in your home country. If your home country requires its citizens to serve mandatory military service and you are of the appropriate age for such service, this may indicate that you want to come to Australia to avoid performing the mandatory military services. The above are just examples of what can be considered by the department in assessing whether you satisfy the public interest criterion 4011.
I really enjoy having this conversation with you. Now I have more understanding of how I can satisfy the department that there is little chance that I will remain in Australia after the expiry of the visa.
If I have been of assistance to you, please subscribe to our channel. You can see a YouTube icon on the right-hand side at the bottom of this video. Please click and subscribe to our channel. If you are watching this video using a mobile device, please watch this video using landscape mode. Tap the screen 1 or 2 times and the YouTube icon shall appear.
Not a problem. I really appreciate your help and I will now subscribe to your channel.
With more subscribers on our channel, we can provide more content to support other viewers.